A man snatches a 1-ton shark with a single hand. His buddy nearby lunges in with a hook. Together, they yank that ferocious great white shark right onto the raft. The shark snaps its ginormous jaws, ready to strike back. The man slams down onto it and stabs at its head like a madman. Blood gushes everywhere, soaking through the deck and spilling into the ocean. And guess what? That metallic stench of blood draws a horde of sharks, and they surround the raft like a pack of hungry wolves. His mates are yelling at him to cut it out, but this guy, who hasn't eaten in a week, has lost his mind. He grabs a huge machete and starts carving up the shark right there. The fat guy, covered in blood, is scared shitless. He gets into a huge screaming match with the captain, then walks along the ship's edge, looking like he doesn't give a damn, and those sharks below are just waiting for their chance. Suddenly, he slips and plunges into the water. The sharks zoom in on him in a flash. His crewmates chuck a rope into the sea, but it's way too short. The fat guy can't reach it, so they start chucking pieces of shark meat to lure the sharks away. While the fat guy just keeps drifting farther and farther out, the sharks circle the fat guy, ready to pounce any second. Just when it seems all is lost, a fearless dude dives into the water. He manages to get the rope to the fat guy. The others keep tossing out shark meat to buy them some time. Meanwhile, the crew hauls on the rope like their lives depend on it. Just as the sharks are about to swarm, the two guys scramble onto the ship. Everyone's completely wiped out, but this is just the start. As evening rolls in, a massive dark cloud looms on the horizon. The captain's all smiles, saying it won't rain. But come nightfall, lightning's cracking, thunder's booming, and the rain's pummeling the sea. The ship could capsize any minute. Someone shouts to tie the ropes around themselves. Then, out of nowhere, a massive wave hits, and the sail gets shredded in a flash. The captain goes overboard, but thankfully, the rope saves him from getting swept away. The crew drags him back on board, and he clings to a post, shaking. This is the closest he's ever been to biting the dust. 6 guys are about to take on the Pacific Ocean on a wooden raft. Captain Thor's an anthropologist. He and his wife Liv once did some research on the Polynesian islands. After doing some digging, they discovered that the first people who settled there actually crossed the Pacific from South America, not Asia like experts thought. And get this, they did it on a simple, light, wooden raft. Thor spent 10 whole years researching and writing a paper on it. He wanted to show the world, but every publishing house laughed him off. They even dared him, saying, "If you can build a light wooden raft and make it from Peru to Polynesia, we'll believe you." Well, Thor's no quitter. He recruits 5 mates: Herman, the sales guy; Torstein and Knut, the radio whizzes; Bengt, the seasoned sailor; and Eric, the photographer. This bad boy is rigged up with nothing but ropes. Zero modern gizmos, nada. And Thor and his 5-man crew are about to take this thing all the way across the Pacific. Right off the bat, these guys are amped up and itching for adventure. But when night hits, non-swimmer Thor spots a shark in the water. As if that wasn't enough, a thunderstorm's brewing in the distance. Thor couldn't care less. He's like, "A little rain, no biggie." Spoiler alert, it's a monster storm. They're scrambling to take down the sail, tying themselves down for dear life, and fishing Thor out of the drink, all at the same time. The next day, after the storm finally clears, the crew gets to work patching up the raft. That's when Herman pries out a handful of wood shavings from a crack. One squeeze, and water gushes out. Translation? The raft's rotting fast. Herman's lips are sealed as he chucks those shavings overboard, game face on, but you know he's panicking inside. Just then, Bengt corners Thor. "We're way off course. 1 more mile and we're shark bait for that mega whirlpool." Thor just smirks and walks away. Back in the cabin, Eric shoves a book in his face, showing him the terrifying whirlpool pics. Thor, still grinning like it's all a joke. Spoiler, it isn't. 6 dudes adrift in the Pacific, and their radios deader than a doornail. Desperate for a signal, they send up a balloon. Just as it starts to crackle to life, the parrot swoops in and chomps through the rope. Poof! Signal gone. Balloon bye-bye. Now they're totally MIA, floating alone in the middle of nowhere. Day 4 rolls around, and the raft's way off track, hurtling straight for that dreaded whirlpool. Out of nowhere, a massive whale shark sneaks up on them. but instead of attacking, it just hangs there. Thor spots it and yells for the camera. The whale shark surfaces, its huge body dwarfing the raft. Herman's eyes are bugging out of his head. Everyone rushes out, jaws dropped. The whale shark glides straight for the raft, slips under it like a ghost, and vanishes into thin air. Just then, Eric snatches up the camera. Boom! The whale shark's still here, with that monster lurking beneath them. Everyone's on high alert. Suddenly, a geyser of water shoots up in the distance. Thor snatches the camera, ready for the perfect shot. But Herman's a nervous wreck. He grabs a harpoon, and as the whale shark charges, hurls it with all his might. The shark goes ballistic, its tail slamming the water so hard it creates a mini tsunami. The rope connecting the raft whips through the air, and the next thing they know, everyone's hitting the deck. One guy goes overboard, and the whale shark starts dragging the raft around in circles like it's a toy. Talk about a nightmare, but then, snap, the rope breaks and they're finally in the clear. They fish the crewmate out, but tempers flare. Some dude's ready to go off on Herman, veins popping, but Thor jumps in the middle. Chill out, dude was just spooked. Still, as night falls, the tension's thicker than ever. Herman spots a corner of the raft wobbling. It's like a ticking time bomb. One wrong move and this whole thing could fall apart. A week goes by, and he just yanks off a chunk of wood like it's made of wet cardboard. He tosses it into the ocean, and it sinks like a stone. Thor and the gang lower a cage to fish, and Eric dives in. He's too busy oohing and aahing at the underwater scenery to notice the shark sneaking up behind him. The second he spots it, he's scrambling up the cage, grabbing a handful of soggy wood shavings on the way. One squeeze, and it's game over the raft's on its last legs. Everyone turns to Thor, but he's still playing it cool. Thankfully, after 2 weeks, the radio crackles back to life. They send out messages reporting their location and progress, but their fate's still up in the air. Thor grabs his camera, hops on a life raft, and paddles away. He's aiming to get that perfect group shot of the crew and their battered raft. Because, memories. Out of nowhere, a shark slithers in from the distance. The moment the guys catch sight of it, they yank the rope back like their lives depend on it. And guess what? There are a whole bunch of sharks lurking right under the raft. Thor manages to scramble back onto the raft safely, but the poor parrot by the side doesn't stand a chance. It takes a nosedive into the water, and bam! A great white shark chomps it down in one bite. That bird was Canute's pride and joy, and man is he pissed. He's got his eyes locked on those sharks like a hawk. All of a sudden, he reaches out and snatches a shark with one hand. Thorstein rushes over and starts stabbing at it. Together, they heave that thrashing shark onto the raft. Thorstein, fueled by revenge for his feathered friend, jumps on the shark's back and goes to town with his dagger. Blood is everywhere, seeping through the deck and into the ocean. And of course, that metallic stench attracts even more sharks. But Knut isn't done yet. He steps in and gives the shark another good stab, splattering blood all over Herman's face. And get this, there's no sign of the parrot. The real culprit is still out there, lurking in the depths. Herman drags over a wooden box, pulls out 2 coils of wire, and pleads with Thor to reinforce the raft. But Thor's not having it. "We can't blow this now," he shouts. "We're doing it the ancient way, with nothing but wood and ropes." And just like that, he chucks the wire into the sea, box and all. Everyone's jaws drop. Herman looks like he's lost all hope as he starts pacing along the edge of the raft. Out of the blue, Herman's feet slip, and he goes crashing into the water. The sharks go into a frenzy, darting towards him at lightning speed. His mates toss the rope into the water, but it comes up way short. Herman's stretching, but he can't reach it. So they start flinging chunks of shark meat to draw the sharks away, all while Herman drifts farther and farther out. It's a race against time. Just when things look hopeless, Knut takes the plunge. He swims like a madman, gets the rope to Herman, and his buddies keep throwing meat to buy them some precious seconds. They're yanking on that rope for dear life, and at the very last second, Just as the sharks are about to swarm, Knut and Herman haul themselves onto the raft. Everyone's completely wiped out. Thor apologizes to Herman, but you can tell he still believes in his crazy plan. Thankfully, a month later, Bengt makes a huge discovery during his routine check. "Guys, we're back on course!" he yells. Thor's over the moon. He tells the crew, and suddenly, everyone's pumped up again. Victory's in sight. Thor sends the good news to the mainland, and the 6 of them crack open their hidden stash of wine to celebrate. And wouldn't you know it, a pod of whales shows up, almost like they're joining the party. On the 101st day at sea, Thorstein's brushing his teeth when whoosh, a seagull swoops into view. "Land's gotta be close," he shouts, pumped. But hold up, there's a new problem. Thor warns. Sharp corals are all around land. One wrong move and we're toast. Bengt suggests a southern detour, but that'll add a whole month to the trip. The crew shoots that idea down right away. It's Deadlock City, until Herman pipes up. "Every 13th wave's a big one," he says. "We can ride it to shore." The crew's like, "Let's do this." They round up all the heavy stuff, tie it up, and toss it into the sea as a sea anchor. And then Herman starts counting. 1 wave, 2 waves, 3, 4. The rope at the bottom is straining, about to snap. 5, 6. The crew's got their knives at the ready. 7, 8, and as he hits 9, snap! The rope at the bottom gives way. Everyone's hanging on for dear life as the raft gets slammed towards the land. The waves are pounding, and in an instant, the raft splinters apart. Everyone's in the water, thrashing around. Thor can't swim, and he's struggling big time. But then, he feels something beneath his feet. The seabed. He made it to land, and somehow the rest of the crew pulls through too. Thor stumbles onto the shore, completely spent, and drops to his knees. They've crossed 5,000 miles, battled the Pacific for 101 days, and finally, they've proven a piece of history. This epic flick is called Kon-tiki, based on the true story of the badass Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl. Unlike your typical adventure movie, this one gets you right in the feels with all the fear and tension. If you're loving this video, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.